Take 1, 2. Welcome to Conscious Life.
Welcome back, everybody, to Conscious Life. Today, we have a lot of good things in store for you, and we're going to go ahead and dive right in. We decided to take a little time off, just want to say that first, to kind of enjoy ourselves, enjoy the summer a little bit early before everything got popping off, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, we're back, ready in that action, and today, the topic that we're going to be talking about is love. We'll be focusing on, rather. And love is a very powerful word, and a word that a lot of people sometimes equate to God. Okay, God is love, or things of that nature. So, really though, there are a few things I want to touch on about love. And I want to touch on love in personal relationships. I want to touch on love in a universal relationship. Okay, as far as your essence and how you are being and behaving or whatnot. Your actual essence here in the world and how you project and what you spread, your vibration, what you give off to other people in a general sense. I also want to talk about love in a family sense, okay? What love means and kind of touch on a few things in a family sense. And then I also want to touch on what love means in friendships, all right? So today we're going to cover a little ground on exactly love, the vibration of love, because it's much more powerful just than those 4 words. Those 4 letters. What do those 4 letters really mean? The word love. The 4 letters put together create one word, and the word itself is power. So really just want to touch on that today, as far as the principle of, and we'll start with God is love. So the principle of God is love. What exactly do you feel about that, babe? How do you feel about God is love?
Yeah, God is love in a sense because love is like basically, pretty much the bigger, emotion, or we could say, with love, everything like could be like peaceful, you feel me?
Oh, surely.
Like,
surely.
and without love, everything is chaos, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's why, like, in a sense, they say God is love, is because, like, the emotions that, we have for us loving one another, far as whether it's relationship, family, or whatever, love is like, let's say love is I'm like, because pretty much a lot of people, I would say, would describe love in their own definition.
Absolutely. Oh, surely. Everybody has their own definition of what love is, and some people's definition of love might not really be love. Yeah. It could be lust. It could be, it could be jealousy. It could be all kind of other vibrations that you're carrying into what you feel or want to channel into love, but it's not. And I was just going to kind of interject there. What I was going to say a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago was that love. Okay, so let's go back to the primal laws, okay, because we're talking about universality here with the God concept, okay? Love is God. God is love, that theory. And when you go back and you take it to a universal concept, okay, or a universal law, rather, okay, you have a few different theories we can go to. The law of polarity, cause and effect. I know they have the 7 Hermetic principles that, are all inclusive of different types of law of vibration. But nonetheless, even under further evaluation of these laws, you realize there are only 2 laws, okay? Obviously, they're all encompassing, and the 2 laws belong to one, which is why, you have God, the all-encompassing, the omnipotent, the omniscient. You have God as a much bigger, wider concept. But even in between that, when you start to break it down on, we could talk about an atom or even a piece of bacteria versus the stars and, the cosmos. Everything operates on the same laws. It doesn't matter how small or minuscule it is versus how big or vast it is. It operates on the same laws, and us included in between. Okay, so the theory of that is, okay, even cause and effect. There are only 2 things, okay? Every action has a proper reaction, okay? Opposite but equal reaction. So, quite frankly, nothing is out here just operating. Anything that you do, anything that happens, any action that you take is going to have a reaction. It's going to be a cause. Every cause has its effect. So, quite frankly, thinking of that and relating it to God, you know what I mean, or relating it to this, all omnipotent being or presence that we'll say, because just me, and I'll just say for my personal belief in God, I feel like God is too all-encompassing as a concept for me, period, because I do believe in God. I believe in a higher power. I believe in source. I believe that there's a universal intelligence that's working behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, right in front of your face every day, really, but again, we've been kind of taught or trained or whatnot to see certain things a certain way or to believe in certain things a certain way. So when we kind of disconnect, unplug, and pull it back from a particular way of thinking, then we're able to observe things from an unbiased point of view. And what that brings us is to again, the concept of God. So if we're saying this God, you want to put God in, a lot of people like to put God into a body like a human or like a plant, or God is too big, or the concept of God is too big or vast just to be just that. You know what I mean? Like that's just that, like just that's it. No, it's everything. God is everything, everyone living in each and every one of us, and we know that because we know of the teachings. If you read the Bible, it's in there too. But nonetheless, not to negate, but the concept of God is just much more vast than that. So if you have the concept of God and we have two ulterior motives going on here, you know what I mean, then what's the second motive? Who is it?
I would say. I mean, I don't think there's a other motive than just that. You know what I mean?
Surely.
Unless somebody create one.
Well, I mean, God is the all-encompassing. But you have a good and what people perceive as bad, right? Which might be the devil, or might be a negative aspect, or might be, some other kind of negative theory or vibration that people want to attribute to, the other side of that. There are only two themes, though. Throughout the history of mankind, there are only two themes, and it is God. I mean, if you want to really, and that's really kind of, overseeing the whole thing. I'm trying to bring it down to another level. He's like, trying to bring it back to I am that I am. But nonetheless, that is the all-encompassing thing, because these two themes belong to one, there we go, one source.
Of course.
So, and if you operate in that way and you living in that way, it's kind of hard to separate the two, to be honest.
That's true.
It is. It's very difficult because it should be no separation.
At all.
But in retrospect and in observation, just kind of taking a step back and looking, you realize that there are two reoccurring themes throughout the history of time and mankind, and that is negative or positive, or good and bad, or left and right, or up and down, or white and black, or we can go on in a male and female. We go on and on with, the theory of, what the sides are, or what we attribute to what we attribute. Labels are just labels. They're just that. But nonetheless, in moving forward and in everyday life, I think it's key to understand the bigger picture of what God is. And because really God is love.
That's where the universal love comes from. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
say if you put God just in one little aspect, you know what I'm saying? And if God is love, so that's mean God, that love is not anywhere else but
Within.
right here.
Absolutely.
What I mean? So that's why we say God is wide, you know what I mean? And,
Sure.
and love, God is love, and love is universal, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's where everybody could connect as one, you know what I mean, through love, you know what I mean? Because love is so much big.
And we are all connected through love. That's the thing. But people, any action you take against love is operating in the opposite. Okay, regardless of what you want to call that opposite. Whether you want to call it, whatever, negative God, negative devil, you could call it God as well. Some people call it God, you know what I mean? Because it is, but it may be a different God, you know what I mean? If depending on what level you're operating on, there are cycles and there are levels to this thing. I think, who made that song? Levels in this. Is that Gotti?
I think.
There your Gotti is.
I think it's Meek Mill or something.
No, I think it's Gotti, man.
Probably.
But nonetheless, that's neither here nor there. But it's levels to this thing. That's all that matters. So taking it there, just wanted to say that, put that out there as a precursor before we get started. Just the idea and the the perspective that we're coming from, or I'm coming from personally. I can only speak for myself, So that I'm coming from here today and kind of giving you a little backstory on some of the things and ideas that may transpire, that come up and we discuss, and you're like, well, how did she come up with that? Well, that's why, because I think of God as this, and I think of God as, you know, such an omnipotent thing, or not even a thing, right? It could be a thing, but, you know, just anything, like, you know what I mean? It's God is such a presence that's in everything. I mean, how could you separate yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's another theory that we'll say for religion, because you know what I mean. How could you separate yourself? How could you say, you know, a lot of people pray to something outside of them, with, you know, like you know, it says in the Bible, I think the best, that, you know, God is living within. God is within. So how can you, you know, separate yourself and kind of put God so far away, you know? And that's kind of how we ended up in the decisions in the world we live in today, because people have separated themselves from God and put God in a place so far away that, you know, the only way they feel they can reach him, rather than living everyday life and touching, you know, things and living things and interacting and paying attention, receiving signals and signs, they want God to be like, yo, I'm talking to you right now. But nonetheless, we'll say that for another time.
Yep.
So this is,
and I think too, babe, and that's why, like, a lot of people, they don't even understand the concept of love, because, like, they separate themselves from the main universal thing. You know what I mean? Like, you say God is love, but you say God is something over there. You know what I mean? If God ain't within, that's mean love is not even within.
Absolutely.
Also, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.